My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven. Malachi 3 verse 10. Your $50 or $100 gift to Holy Voices is a seed of faith. Your name was uttered in a location where it had neither the right nor the right to be. And a woman, yes, the one whose grin was something that always seemed a little bit forced, did something that she will regret for the rest of her life. She did not take your picture in order to remember you or to bless you. Rather, she did it in order to twist it and to ensnare it in a shadow ritual. My little child, she illuminated a candle with a picture of you at its center. Words were spoken by her in a language that was older than her family tree. Those words that were never intended to be said over your future situation. According to Archangel Michael, her ritual is currently in its final minutes at this very moment. 2 minutes remain till the thing that she wished to seal is properly sealed. A love that was intended for you. The wealth that is available to you. The tranquility that you feel within your head. Pay close attention to what I have to say if you believe that this is just another warning that you can ignore. Going ahead and skipping this is precisely what she wants you to do. The reason for this is that if you choose to ignore it and walk away at this moment, her final attempt will be successful. In addition, you won't feel the difference in days but rather in hours. The burden, the weird quiet from the people you love, and the possibilities that should have been yours but instead had been taken by someone else are all things that you are experiencing. Michael has arrived and is standing here with his sword drawn, ready to tear through every string that she has woven around your spirit. My darling, but even paradise has its own set of regulations. Your authorization causes the door to open. Now, with just one click, she will loose all that she has been attempting to bind to her will. Her circle of darkness will be reduced to dust right in front of her very eyes if she only had one instant of trust right now. Is it possible that this is a coincidence? During this same instant, you were brought to this location because the heavenly clock was ticking closer and closer to the very edge. Heaven knew that you had to look at these words before it was too late. There was no way around it. And dear, I must tell this now before you even breathe another breath. God himself murmured, "Do not let my child be blindfolded another second." I must say this while you are still breathing. Keep your connection. Don't let this be the final time we talk to each other. I have no idea how many times I have witnessed you going through pain in silence when a single word from above could have completely altered the course of circumstances. To subscribe, click the button right now. This is not for my benefit, but rather for your own safety, because there are things that are about to happen that you need to hear as soon as they emerge from the shadows. Neither of them will be discovered by accident twice. As I look at the threads of her ritual, I notice that they are still warm. She has lowered herself to her knees. The movement of her lips is rapid. She is saying your name, and she is calling it in a manner that causes it to reverberate in the domain of the spirits. It appears like she is attempting to take what is rightfully yours for herself. However, she is unaware that heaven has already encircled her with light that she is unable to endure. Michael is looking at her with a glare that is more piercing than cold steel. His knowledge of how to break the chain that she has tied around you is unmatched. The fact of the matter is, however, that she cannot be stopped unless you raise your hand at this very moment. There are fewer than 2 minutes left for you, my kid, unless you make the action that says, "I see what you've done and I cancel it." There is a downward curve in the flame of the candle. As soon as it passes away, her ritual will be completed. A piece of cloth will be wrapped over your photograph, and then it will be fastened and placed in a shadowy area where light has a difficult time reaching. However, if you take action right now, her hands will shake before she has a chance to finish. There will be a fall of the cloth. Your picture will be made available. She will receive the energy that she transmitted back to her as quickly as a tide that is coming back to shore. Moreover, she will experience the acrid taste of the things that she attempted to introduce into your life. There is a possibility that you will tell yourself, "I'll deal with this later." However, in the spirit realm, there is no such thing as later. Right now is the only time that exists, and it is the moment that stands between your blessing and your struggle. The reason I am telling you this, dear, is because you are more important than you realize. Michael continues, "My beloved, you were not born to be caged in her darkness. You were born to walk in God's gold light, and I will not watch her dim you without a fight. There is no such thing as a coincidence in our universe. Because of this, she chose to focus on you. Simply because your light causes her shadow to become smaller. Due to the fact that your triumph causes her mirror to burst. Because your tranquility brings back to her thoughts everything that she has misplaced within her own being. Her hands would be shaking, and her breathing would be irregular if you were to see her right now. Not because she is afraid of what she is doing, but rather because she already senses the opposition that heaven is giving her. She has a feeling that something is resisting her. It is not yet known to her that you are the one reading this. The fact that you are the one who has the ability to bring her entire scheme to a halt in an instant. Right now, the air that is surrounding you seems to be heavier, doesn't it? This is not a product of your thoughts. It's the strain of two different realms watching you make a decision. Are you going to truly embrace the light, or are you going to allow her last words to become ingrained in your destiny like ink on paper? I am aware of you, my dearest. It is not as weak as you believe your spirit to be. You've weathered storms that were much more severe than this one, but that's precisely why this conflict is taking place. Mainly due to the fact that you have been intended for more, and darkness despises more. There is a sword ready for Michael. Angels of God are around your house like walls of fire, protecting it from harm. The key to the door is your affirmative response at this very instant. The gap in the wall that will allow light to enter is the agreement that you have reached. Her time is almost up, but she is completely unaware of it. That the precise thing that she had hoped would bind you will result in her being bound instead. The fact that the energy that she believed she could manipulate to her advantage will, instead, turn around and confront her like a mirror that she cannot bring herself to look at.
Please, my kid, do not continue to wait. I beg you. Each and every second that you pause is a thread that she pulls more tightly. But once it's tight, the only thing that can cut it is the sword of heaven. Heaven, on the other hand, is waiting for you to open to it. Now, the flame is not very large. 2 minutes is quite close to 1 minute. Because your soul is aware that this is a genuine situation, you may sense the sense of urgency in your chest. Your soul is aware that this time is extremely unusual. That was God's will. This was provided by Michael. And the choice is now entirely up to you. My lover, her hands are shaking at this moment. There is no reason for her to feel regret for what she has done. Rather, it is because something in the background has changed. A force that she is unable to identify is exerting pressure on her. She believed that she had the ability to manage the space, but Michael's wings have extended out and his presence has filled it. The walls of her own power are closing in on her, and she feels the air becoming more dense. It is not yet clear to her that the reason for this is because you are hearing the truth. The instant you hear the truth, lies start to rot away in your mind. I can notice that your breathing is becoming more deeper and more focused. There is a reason for this. Your soul is already making progress toward freedom. When you read, you are removing another needle from your spirit and another thorn from the garden of your serenity with each and every word that you read. This is no light warning, and this is not a routine story. This is the narrow line that separates a life that is confined to stillness from a life that is submerged in brightness. Do not be afraid. God did not bring you into this moment with the intention of frightening you. In order to rouse you, he did it. Since she has been working against you in the shadows while you have been living, working, loving, and dreaming, she has been manipulating you. During the time that you were praying for peace, she brought curses onto your name. She planted weeds in your road while you were planning for joy to come your way. Moreover, heaven understood that a hand had wrapped itself around what was planned for you each and every time you pondered the reasons behind the apparent delay of some favors. Michael has stated that her thread is almost finished, but it is your voice that must complete it. What millennia of darkness have been unable to withstand will be accomplished by your cooperation with heaven now. Your affirmation will reverberate more loudly than her hushed utterances. Because of your decision, her tower will be brought down in a single breath. I would like for you to experience this as I say it. You are not a weak person in this situation. In the darkness, you are not a victim who is wandering around. Due to the fact that she had intended for you to remain silent, you are the storm that she did not see coming. On the other hand, God has an arrow embedded in your spirit. When you finally proclaim that you have had enough, the sky will roar in unison with you. You must realize, dearly beloved, that the power of evil magic is not greater than that of God. Every share, every like, every comment is a seed. Sow $20 into Holy Voices and be part of a miracle harvest. Not only has it never been, but it will never be. But it flourishes in places where the ignorant remain apathetic. When those who are targeted do not take action, it grows. And right now, the decision that you take is the key to putting an end to her last opportunity. You can see her face. She has her eyes closed, her voice is low, and she is quivering with the power that she believes is specifically hers. On the other hand, in the domain of the spirits, every single syllable is breaking under the pressure of the holy light. However, she is oblivious to the angel who is following her. Michael's footsteps are not audible to her as they draw closer. Her only sensation is a chilly edge, which marks the beginning of her downfall. And it is imperative that you hear this. In this case, protection is not the only concern. The topic at hand is restoration. All of the things that she attempted to take away from you, including love, money, confidence, and clarity, are now coming back to you. As soon as you commit your spirit to the movement of God, those blessings will rush toward you as if they had never been far away. You must have experienced that, right? Those days when you found yourself feeling down for no apparent cause. Those nights when you awoke feeling as if someone had called your name, your heart beating, and you were startled awake. There was no such thing as paranoia when you experienced the peculiar sensation of certain people's eyes meeting yours and something within you murmured, "Be careful, beloved." The threat that her effort posed was detected by your spirit at that moment. What you experienced was the warning system of heaven activating inside of you. Even as I speak, Michael is communicating with me. Please convey to my child that they are loved more intensely than they could possibly have dreamed. Inform them that I have fought giants for the honor of their name. Inform them that I will not allow her to complete the task unless they hand me the weapon. It is up to you to decide whether or not to take action right now in order to obtain the breaking of her power simultaneously. This is a fact that I am unable to change for you. There is now only 1 minute left to go. Flickering occurs in the candle's flame. She is about to tie your photograph with the last knot, so completing the process. The purpose of that knot is to enslave your happiness. On the other hand, if you allow Michael's hand to hit at this moment, that knot will never be tied. Have you experienced that chill that runs up and down your spine? That does not constitute fear. What you are experiencing is your soul recalling its authority. It is the Spirit of God brushing against yours, saying, "I am here, child, and I am bigger than this." If you are in the right place at the right time, you should not underestimate the power that it possesses. There is not a single second of doubt in your mind that this was discovered by chance. This could have been viewed by millions of people, yet you were the only one that was transported here in this same instant. In light of the fact that Michael mentioned your name earlier this morning, because God leaned toward him and said, "Go now. My child's photo is under fire. Their destiny must not be touched." She believed that you would never know what was going to happen. It was her belief that her circle of darkness would continue to be concealed. However, the light of heaven is not kind toward shadows. They are pursued by it. It brings them into the light. At this precise moment, you are the one who is holding the match that will cause every rope that she attempted to wrap around you to catch fire. Is the question whether you will ignite it or whether you will wait for her to finish? Loved one, the knot is very close to being in her grasp. At this point, the final twist, the final breath of her ceremony, is prepared to encircle your blessings like chains that do not rust. On the other hand, she does not notice what I perceive, which is that there is a significant shadow behind her, and it is not her own shadow. It is Michael who is standing there with his sword drawn, a blade that is more blazing than the fire that she ignited for you. He does not speak at a loud volume, yet every phrase causes the ground she is kneeling on to quake. He tells her that her time has passed, but he continues to wait. He never stops waiting because heaven will never insist on entering without first receiving your approval. Having control over your life is something that has been bestowed upon you. In order for your word to take action, even angels must wait. It is the law of the Spirit that says that your consent is the key that unlocks the door for miracles to come pouring in. When it is absent, blessings float in the air, angels hold their breath, and darkness makes an effort to complete what it started. Even though it may not appear to be different to you right now, my lover, the room that surrounds you is actually bustling with activity behind the scenes. Both light and shadow are resonating with the sound of your name. Even if her lips are still calling out to you, your spirit is responding to a more elevated voice. It is the voice of God, the voice that declares, "You are mine, and nothing formed against you shall prosper." If you were aware of the fire that is currently encircling you, you would not be terrified of it. If you were to see the light bending toward your photograph even at this moment, you would be aware of how soon this situation will come to an end if you allow it to continue. This is due to the fact that God does not deal with Satan. The situation is not met by him halfway. In its entirety, he destroys it. And when he moves, the only thing that is left is his magnificence. Since then, Michael has moved closer to her. She is aware of the hair on her arms standing up. Although she is aware that someone is observing her, she is driven on by her pride. As far as she is concerned, she has been doing this for far too long to be stopped. She is under the impression that she is aware of the boundaries of the light, but she is not aware of the God who created you. Her knowledge of the covenant that governs your life is limited. She has no idea that the instant you give heaven your yes, her entire altar would be reduced to ash right in front of her very eyes. I feel obligated to tell you this, my dearest, because this is not only about what she is doing at the moment. This pertains to each and every seed of darkness that she seeded in the past. She was filled with envy whenever she witnessed you in a pleasant state. As soon as she heard your name being extolled, she uttered a quiet slur. All of the lies that she told in order to make others question your credibility. As soon as this time is finished, the root will pull out everything that is underneath it. Through the years, you have seen seasons in which doors closed for no apparent reason. A place where friendships were abruptly severed and where money was lost more quickly than it was brought in. That was not a random occurrence. The reverberation of her work in the shadows was what they were. God, on the other hand, is prepared to turn around every echo and to return every blessing with interest. In comparison to your religion, her ritual is not more powerful. The light from her candle is not brighter than the light from heaven, and the knots in her hair are not more tightly tied than Michael's clasp. The timing, however, is everything. Now she is holding the rope in her hands. This is about to be sealed by her. Once something is sealed, it is extremely difficult to reverse something that could have been halted in a single breath. It is not a coincidence that you are experiencing emotions such as the pull in your chest and the heat in your palms at this same moment. Beloved, this is the awakening of your spirit. It is the angels that are surrounding you, drawing nearer to you, waiting for the opportunity to be able to move. As soon as they do, you will be able to feel it. The weight will eventually give way. Those peculiar delays will be eliminated. You will be reunited with the people who were intended to bless you. Due to the fact that your spirit will be liberated, your own mirror will have a lighter feeling. The last thing she wants you to do is hear this. She would like for you to ignore this, to assume that this is nothing more than words, and to believe that she has already won. But let me tell you right now that her victory is nothing more than a shadow, and shadows disappear as the light comes. That light is being carried by you, the person. It is because of you that this moment is happening. You are the one who would see her, name her, and put an end to her job. She could not have predicted that you would be the one. The tone of Michael's voice is quiet. Oh, my dearest, just one move. The first. Indeed. And tonight is the end of this. And when it is over, it will not be a peaceful conclusion. The energy that she sent toward you will be redirected toward her with a great deal of power. This is not to take her life, but rather to demonstrate to her that there is no way that anything can come close to what God has claimed. As I watch, the knot that was in her palm starts to loosen. On her candle, the flame is bending in the direction of the ground. The phrases that she has been repeating cause her lips to stutter for a moment. With each breath that you take in trust, she is rapidly losing her power. She is unable to comprehend the reason. However, I do because the light is currently filling the space that you are in. Due to the fact that your spirit is more audible than her ritual. Beloved, the atmosphere at this moment is becoming increasingly dense. In spite of her best efforts to deny it, she is aware of it. Not only does she no longer have the room in which she sits, but it is also the room in which she lighted that candle and uttered your name. It is the property of the person who created you. The walls are leaning inward with a presence that she is unable to identify, yet she is aware of it enough to be afraid of it. It is not because she is weak that her hands are shaking more now. Rather, it is because of the weight of what is pressing against her. She is aware that there is a power that she cannot be able to escape. Even still, she clings to the final moments of her ritual as if they have the power to save her from the impending collapse that she senses is on the horizon. Michael is going to get closer. It is almost as if his sword is touching the rope that she is holding. It seems as if he has been waiting for this one moment for eons, as his eyes are fixed on her motions, unblinking and steady. Your click of faith, like, subscribe, support, can change lives. Bless Holy Voices with $50 today. When you open the door to heaven, he knows that your spirit will say yes, and when you do, the cut will be rapid, not a leisurely unwinding, but rather a clean, abrupt break that leaves her with nothing to restore. You were brought here right now, not a few hours ago or tomorrow, but right now, for this very reason. Mostly due to the fact that time is not measured in terms of days or months in the world of the unseen. Those openings, those moments when the hand of heaven aligns with your choice, are the measuring sticks for it. Additionally, this is the alignment at the moment. This is the window that will not be open for an extended period of time. If you were able to see what she was thinking, you would be aware of the truth. However, she is not as self-assured as she seems to be. Her lips are still moving, but her heart is making a rapid beat. She is aware of the light pressing into her back and the heat that is coming from behind her. Something is observing her, she is aware of it. It is clear to her that someone is doing so. Moreover, she is concerned that the task that she started would not be finished. I have to reveal to you, my dearest, that this is not simply about terminating her employment. Reclaiming what she attempted to bury is the meaning of this. The happiness that you had experienced in the past, but which seems to disappear for no apparent cause. The clarity that you were in possession of but failed to grasp. the love that dissipated without any prior communication. The all of it has been waiting in a holding place, guarded by angels who would not allow her to take it in its entirety. And at this very moment, the door to that location is opening up. Michael speaks once more, his voice resembling a drum that trembles from one dimension to the next. Do not squander this hour, child of God. Thank you. Refrain from believing that there will be another one like it. As if it were the last few seconds before a storm breaks out, his comments have the sense of urgency. He is aware that the knot is essentially tied. He is aware that in order to secure it, he needs to make one last move. On the other hand, he is prepared to put a stop to it if you give him permission to do so. In what way do you comprehend, my beloved? The authority that God has placed in you is so strong that even angels are bound by it. In the absence of your authorization, they will not relocate. Your affirmative response is the command. Your conviction is the key to unlocking the door. Furthermore, when you opt for light, darkness is left with no other option than to run. Currently, the flame on her candle is sputtering. It is not because she is reaching the end of her life. Rather, it is because her power is diminishing. Your awareness has caused a shift in the equilibrium. A floodlight shines on her shadows, and your spirit's attention is like a floodlight. Working in such a dim environment is impossible for her. Nevertheless, she is adamant. She exerts more effort, speaks more quickly, and ties the rope with a greater amount of power. She believes that she will be successful if she is able to complete the task before you take action. She is unaware of the fact that heaven is already peering in over your shoulder, waiting for the word that will cause her to stop her work in the middle of moving forward. Beloved, I have witnessed you go through far too much suffering to let this moment to pass without action. The betrayals that you have endured would have been enough to break other people. Due to the fact that you did not wish to cause concern to the people you care about, you have carried burdens in silence. In spite of this, your heart has decided to choose kindness above vengeance. You have remained chaste in the face of poison, which is the reason why heaven is fighting for you at this moment. Hear me out. If you believe that your part in this is insignificant, you are mistaken. The difference between a chain that is sealed and a chain that is shattered is the agreement that you agree to right now. A year of delay can be compared to a year of abundance, and here is the difference between the two. In addition, there is the distinction between her leaving with a sense of self-satisfaction and her leaving with quiet. The flame decreases in height. You can see the rope in her fingertips. Her breathing is quickening, and she is nearly in a state of fear because she can feel the strike approaching, even if she is unsure of where it is coming from. She was under the impression that she could conceal her ritual from angels' gaze. On the other hand, she failed to remember that the ones who created the stars have no secrets. When Michael raises his sword, he does so. With their wings spread, the angels that were surrounding him formed a circle of light that was so dazzling that it caused her to squint, even though she was unable to see them with her eyes. The fact that she is losing her grasp is not due to the fact that her hands are too weak. Due to the fact that your spirit is more powerful than she could have ever dreamed. At this point, the rope is almost completely closed. I can see her fingers pulling it more tightly. Every twist was designed to further ensnare you in a quiet that she hoped you would never be able to escape. She has faith that the darkness she summoned would pay attention to her until the very end. On the other hand, she is unaware of what is taking place at this same moment. The currents are altering, the atmosphere is changing, and the light is gathering like a storm that is about to burst, yet she does not notice any of these things. As long as your spirit continues to be engaged, her work will continue to lose ground. At this very now, every breath that you take contains more than simply oxygen. The act is defiance. You are sending a message to heaven that you are here, that you are awake, and that you do not want to be taken from me again. There is Michael, and he is far closer than you might believe. If you were able to experience what I do, you would understand that his presence is not merely protecting. Rather, it is quite fierce. There is a certain kind of strength that causes the air itself to become heavy. This is the kind that stops enemies in their tracks. He is not merely here to safeguard you. This is his way of undoing what has been done. Moreover, his gaze is fixed on the rope in question. The instant that you link yourself with him, the strike will hit immediately. The tie will not be able to hold. It is inevitable that the thread will unravel, and the energy that she evoked will disperse into nothingness. Now is the time for you to comprehend something. There was no mishap that led to your life. Within the domain of the Spirit, your name holds a great deal of weight. Not only was a path allotted to you when you were born, but you were also given a covering. There is a heavenly claim that has been placed over your future. Regardless of how hard she tried, she was unable to truly accept it because of this reason. This is the reason why, even when things appeared to be stuck, a portion of you continued to go forward. Since of this, the current moment is significant since it is the time to purge the road of all obstacles totally. She is almost out of breath as she speaks more quickly now. She does not stumble over her words because she forgets them. Rather, she stumbles over them because they are not aligned properly. The presence of God is pressing into her room, causing her voice to waver and causing her knees to feel more weak. At this point, she does not comprehend. The war that she believed she was winning is now coming to an end. In addition, it is tilting because you are listening to this and because you are maintaining your concentration, mostly due to the fact that your spirit is responding to a greater call. There is a photograph of you in her hands. It is more than simply paper in her eyes. It's as if she's considering it a gateway. As if she were speaking to you, she has communicated with it. She has poured her envy into it, with the expectation that it would become a part of your existence. But she has failed to take into account something. It is possible that the image is yours, but when God surrounds it, your spirit is become untouchable. As of right moment, that coating is becoming more dense. Currently, Michael's wings are enveloping you like a shield and covering you completely. Permit me to tell you, my beloved, that the light that is present at this very time is not only there to negate her job. As a replacement for what she attempted to steal, it is here. When this is ended, you will not simply go back to the place you were before she started. You are going to go to a higher height, one that she never thought you would be able to achieve. For the reason that when darkness makes an attempt to dig a pit for God's child, the pit ends up being the basis for something even more significant. She is clenching the rope even more tightly. There is only a whisper of a chance that the flame will go out now. It is intended that the final glimmer of light will enclose her work and keep it hidden away in the shadows. If you were to open the door to heaven right now, however, I can assure you that she would not complete. Her grip on the rope will get shaky, her breath will become labored, and the rope will slide down before the tide. Furthermore, when it collapses, the power that she attempted to send will have no other destination but to return to her. It is angled that Michael's sword is. It is your word, your internal affirmation, and your signal to strike that he is waiting for. The nature of divine order is just like this. Heaven is going to battle for you, but it will never do so without you. In addition, you will experience it when you say yes, my dear. Changes will occur in the air surrounding you. There will be a breaking of the weight that you have been holding in your chest. Additionally, the mysterious delays, the silent losses, and the heavy dreams will be gone forever. Could you sense the draw at this very moment? That sense of urgency that is competing with your heart. In light of the fact that we are only a few seconds away from the break, it is your spirit. As soon as you take the first step forward, this will come to an end. This is your soul's realization. The next day, not even in a few weeks. At this point, she believes that you will not take action. Holy Voices is fertile ground. Plant your $100 seed and watch it grow. What she believes you will do is something that a lot of people do. Get away from the warning if you can. Try to ignore the voice. Insist to yourself that you will take care of it later. Still, she is not familiar with you. It is unknown to her that the individual whom she attempted to bound is the individual whom heaven has decided to release. In addition, she will never be able to anticipate the time when everything she has worked for would come to an end. Currently, the rope is trembling. Her hands are not as strong. Her tone is not as steady as expected. It is dawning on her that she is not the only person in this area. And the reason she is unable to stand is because your spirit has allowed the room to be filled with light. Loved one, she is starting to become aware that something is not quite right. She is breathing more quickly now, and her hands are less confident. For some reason, the rope that she had intended to tie with self-assurance suddenly feels heavy in her fingers, as if it did not want to comply with her command. Every movement she makes feels as like it is being opposed, as if invisible hands are pushing back against her. She attempts to force it by pulling harder and twisting quicker. In addition, this is precisely what is taking place. At this point, Michael's presence is not merely close to her. She is surrounded by it, and it is pressing back into the area where her routine used to feel secure. Heaven appears to have taken possession of the air that she believed to be hers. Her thoughts are going at a breakneck pace. She is at a loss to comprehend the reason why the words that she has repeated countless times in the past are stuck in her throat. It is unclear why the flame, which was steady just a few minutes ago, is suddenly bending low and flickering weakly, almost as if it is submitting itself to someone more powerful. She is not yet aware of the fact that you are the more important, neither because of your own strength but because of the strength of the person who is standing with you. The reason for this is because the God who brought galaxies into existence has determined that this will come to an end tonight. Are you aware of that, my beloved? That slight movement in your own chest, as if something inside of you is becoming more relaxed, is the indication that something is happening. That signifies the beginning of your spirit's ability to breathe without the burden that she has attempted to impose on it. The breaking of the rope has already begun before it is officially cut. And the reason for this is because you have allowed your awareness to remain in this very moment, thereby maintaining the line and refusing to stray away from it. All of Michael's attention is focused on the knot that she is attempting to tie. The light that emanates from his blade is so brilliant that it causes even the darkest night to tremble in fear. Since the moment you entered this encounter, he has been prepared for whatever may come. However, his movements are always perfectly timed. This is the kind that guarantees that the strike is finished. There are no threads left, no power that is still left, and no opportunity for her to rebuild. Because of this, the role that you play right now is really important. The ultimate key is the agreement that you have reached with heaven at this very moment. In its absence, the strike will not be successful. From that point on, everything in her space, in your life, and in the very atmosphere that surrounds you will be different. She is now leaning closer to the candle and muttering more quickly, as she is intent on finishing what she is doing before whatever is pressing against her finally breaks through. She believes that speed will be her savior. She believes that she is able to outrun the presence that is causing her hands to become clumsy. It is impossible for speed to outpace light. Michael is already too close to the situation. It is imperative that you hear this without any hesitation. That which she intended to cause you damage will end up being the precise thing that brings you to a higher level. Should this rope come crashing down, should her ritual fail in the middle of its execution, the power that she has called will have nowhere else to land but on herself. And when it does, she will comprehend it, not solely due to fear, but more due to the realization that you are not unprotected, that your life is enshrouded in a covenant that she is unable to touch. Beloved, I am aware that there have been moments when you have pondered the reasons behind why some aspects of your life have appeared to be taking longer than expected. What caused doors that appeared to be open to suddenly close? It was not a random occurrence. You was not the one who failed. It was her attempts to meddle. A shadow that was pulling threads in areas that you were unable to see. However, when the light is at its peak, shadows are unable to hold. And the light is shining brightly tonight. A portion of the knot has been constructed. She is shaking now, but it is not totally due to terror. Rather, it is due to tiredness. She is depleting herself faster than she can recoup from the resistance that she is experiencing. She has no idea that it is because you have synchronized your movements with the watch of heaven at this same moment, so allowing Michael complete access to strike. Michael makes a tiny adjustment to his blade, which causes the tip to shine brighter and causes the air surrounding it to vibrate. Despite the fact that his voice is low, it carries like thunder. This is the time for you, my dearest love. I will put an end to this for you. The fact that he says that is not a suggestion in any way. There is a guarantee. These are the kinds of promises that heaven never breaks. In the present now, if you were able to perceive yourself in the spirit, you would see a circle of light surrounding you that was expansive and unbroken. Every single phrase that she utters falls short of fitting within that circle, evaporating before it ever has a chance to touch you. Michael is standing in the middle of the room, his wings curved like walls, and his sword poised to cut the rope the moment you give him the final nod. Dearly beloved, the rope is falling freely between her fingers. As of right now, the flame is weak and swinging as if it is considering abandoning the wick entirely. After each of her remarks, there is an increasing pause. She is aware of the fact that she is losing control. She is at a loss as to whether she should exert more effort or simply give up. However, for the time being, it is irrelevant because the strike is unavoidable. Dearly beloved, the change is taking place. It is not obvious to the naked sight, but when viewed through the lens of the soul, it is as loud as 1,000 bells ringing at the same time. Right now, the power dynamic is shifting away from her and toward you. You are the one having the upper hand. These days, her words are more gentle and less certain. She used to be able to slide them off her tongue with a firmness, but now they sound like echoes in a room that is completely empty. The fact that her own voice sounds foreign to her, as if she were speaking into a location that no longer listens, is something that she is unable to comprehend. What she does not realize is that she has already lost the authority that she formerly held over this very moment. The decision is now in your hands, as well as Michael's. Her grip on the rope, which she believed would bound you for all of eternity, now feels alive, twisting against her will and coming dangerously close to slipping away. Her heart rate has increased. Her breath is not consistent. It seems as though the air itself is standing in the way of her fingers each time she attempts to loop the knot. Heaven is breathing into this area, which is why this is happening. Not in a quiet manner, but with the force of someone who is determined not to let you go. In the same way that sunlight penetrates fog, Michael's wings are spread out wide, allowing him to cut through her shadows. Almost as if you can feel it, don't you think? The peculiar pressure that is present in the air around you. That feeling in your chest that is similar to something that is going to burst open. What you hear is the sound of chains being released. At that precise instant, the blade is about to strike. The interval that occurs between the flashing of lightning and the roaring of thunder is barely audible to the human ear. However, when it comes to the spirit, it is the most decisive breath on the planet. Dearly beloved, I implore you to comprehend that this is not simply about terminating her employment. Putting an end to the pattern is the goal. Even if you were unaware of it at the time, you have encountered this energy in the past. The same hand of envy, the same whispers in the dark, and the same attempts to slow down what was supposed to go quickly in your life are all present, even though the faces were different and the situations were different. The line in the sand is tonight. So get ready. Tonight marks the end of everything. The state of her candle has become unstable. Currently, it is dancing madly, and the flame appears to be bending toward the ground as if it is submitting to something more powerful. Desperate to keep it alive till the rope is secured, she reaches forward to hide it with her hands and leans forward towards it. On the other hand, the more she protects it, the more it flutters because she is protecting it from a wind that is not of this world. The holy current that moves without requiring her permission is Michael's presence, and it is this presence that is responsible for destroying everything that she has constructed. Should you be able to see Michael's face at this very moment, you would understand why she is losing. Anger is not the driving force behind him. It's only fair. It is the unwavering conviction that you were selected for something more than this, that you are too valuable to let a shadow to steal your music. She loses power with each inch as he moves closer to her. The measure you use will be measured to you. Mark 4 verse 24. Bless holy voices with $20, $50, or $100 and see God multiply it. Each second that you continue to remain here with this word, her rope becomes more fragile. The whispers she used to make have now evolved into mumbles. Although she is making an effort to recall the last few lines, she is unable to do so. There is a distinct impression that the memory has been removed from her tongue. The work of the Spirit is what you see here. Preventing her from finishing the curse she started by interrupting her in the middle of her thought and silencing her. She gives it another shot, this time clamping her eyes tight in an attempt to concentrate, but all she actually sees is light pressing on her eyelids, destroying the images that she had been retaining in her head. This is the time, my dearest beloved. The rope is still in her possession, but she is no longer able to exercise control over it. The strands are slipping out of the knot, which is loose. When Michael lifts his sword to a greater level, the edge of it glows as if it has absorbed the sun's rays inside of it. All it takes is one action right now to split the fibers. And once they do, the entire ceremony will come to an end altogether. Instantaneously, not in minutes, not in hours, just now. When it occurs, you will be able to feel it. A lift will occur in the air surrounding you. The burden that you have been carrying, the one that you have never been able to identify but have always felt, will leave your shoulders. You will experience a lighter, cleaner, and more liberated spirit, and doors that appeared to be locked will open without any effort on your part because there will be nothing standing in front of them anymore. Even though she is in a state of terror right now, she refuses to acknowledge it to herself. Her grip is shaky, and her hands are dripping with sweat. With the wick bending low into the molten wax, the candle is almost completely extinguished. Both time and power are passing her by at an alarming rate. Exactly at that moment, it will take place. She will be left with nothing but the awareness that she is unable to touch you at that point, which is when the strike will come clean and final. Your consent is the only thing that Michael is waiting for. The sound of your affirmation is the one that will cause his sword to flow through the rope like fire through dry grass. Your lover, when it is all said and done, you will not just be free. In a way that you have never experienced before, you will be untouchable once again. Dearly beloved, the time has come when the air is so dense that it can be touched. It reverberates with something that is both ancient and holy, something that cannot be denied under any circumstances. Right now, if you were able to hear the spirit realm, you would know that the entirety of heaven is bending in toward you. Everyone who is assigned to you is keeping an eye on you. Every single heavenly light was directed specifically at the spot where she was sitting. It is not because she desires for her shadow to get smaller. Rather, it is shrinking because it is unable to choose to do so in the presence of what is approaching. Her hands, I notice that they are shaking more and more with each breath that goes by. She makes another attempt to tie a knot in the rope, but the fibers start to twist against her, causing her to become entangled, slip, and refuse to form the knot. It is almost as if the rope itself has made the decision that it will not come to your rescue. She is attempting to force her mind to concentrate by muttering things under her breath, but her concentration is splintering like glass that is underweight. This occurs when there is a close proximity to light. Every deception, every nefarious scheme, and every erroneous authority is appended by it. The brightness from Michael's sword is now shining off the strands that she is holding in her hand because he has gotten so close to her body. There is a sensation of heat pressing against her flesh, according to her. As far as you are concerned, It is the sigh of relief that you have been anticipating without being able to explain why. With just one swing, millennia of darkness will vanish in an instant. What is the difference? Nevertheless, the law of heaven is still waiting. It continues to request that you answer yes. Do you recall the instances when you felt as though you were being blocked for no apparent reason? How about the relationships that fell apart in an instant? The peculiar tension that existed in rooms when you had not committed any wrongdoing? It was her shadow that was pressing on your path. In addition, the rope that she is holding is intended to make those moments stand out forever. You are present at this moment, so it will not happen. As you stand in the light, nothing that has been built against you will be able to endure. She is barely able to keep the flame on her candle alive. It trembles as if it is aware that the conclusion is near. In an effort to prevent it from passing away, she draws in closer and wraps her hands around it. But by doing so, she is concealing it from the same air that she requires in order to maintain its existence. The ritual is being suffocated by her own desperation now. However, she is oblivious to the fact that her defeat has already begun. Michael continues to talk, and this time, his words feel as though they are coming from deep within your chest. I have been dispatched to attend to this very matter, youngster. The tone of his voice is calm and unhurried since he never has any concerns about the outcome. However, he is aware of the significance of selecting the appropriate moment. And now is perfect. She tries to speak the final phrase, the one that completes the work, but her mouth is dry and her throat is tight. The syllables stick together, the sound stumbles, and the words melt into nothing. It is as if she were trying to shout underwater. The effort is there, but the power is gone. This is the presence of God removing the authority that she believed she had from her voice. Beloved, the rope is beginning to slide out of her fingers. Her grip is beginning to loosen, and the fibers are stretching. Before she can catch it, Michael moves. The sword falls in a single clean motion. It does not slice with noise. Rather, it slices with light. And in that light, the rope does not just break. It disintegrates, falling into dust before it even hits the ground. Her candle goes out. Not slowly, instantly. The smoke curls upward, carrying with it every intention she poured into that ritual, sending it far from you, far from your home, far from your future. The air changes lighter, warmer, sharper, as if a window has been thrown open in your spirit. You feel it now, don't you? That sudden release in your chest, the clarity in your mind, the way your heart feels unchained, that is freedom. That is the moment the last thread was cut. But you know, Michael knows. And all of heaven knows that this battle is over and you have won. Beloved, the silence that follows the breaking is unlike anything else. It is not the heavy silence of fear, nor is it the hollow silence of loss. She stares at her empty hands, unable to comprehend how she could have lost something that she believed was under her control. It is the rich, full stillness of a room where the storm has gone and sunlight is streaming in, warming every corner that was once frigid. You can practically hear your own spirit breathing for the first time in months, maybe even years. Every corner of you that was under strain before now has space around it. Every thought that felt tangled is beginning to unravel gently like a knot in soft thread. Michael stands tall before you, his sword still glowing faintly, not from the battle itself, but from the authority with which it was wielded. His wings arch behind him, vast and steady, as if to block any shadow from daring to return. He looks at you, not with pity, but with recognition. The recognition of someone who has fought for you before in ways you never knew, and is proud to see you still standing. My beloved, he says, his voice steady and certain. What she tied is untied. What she sent is returned. What she hoped to hold will slip through her hands. And what is yours is already on its way back to you. The words sink into your chest like warm light. Then you come to the realization that they are not merely a promise. Rather, they are a declaration that the law of heaven is already in motion. Although you might not be able to see it all at once, you will feel it in waves. For example, you might receive a phone call that you were not expecting. You might receive a message from someone who had become distant, but suddenly became warm again. You might find that an opportunity that appeared to be closed suddenly reopens with no explanation other than the fact that it is your time. These are not coincidences. They are the blessings that were held back, and now they are rushing back like water that has been released from a dam. Even your physical space will feel different. The room that you are sitting in now will carry a different weight. Your sleep will become more profound, not because you are more exhausted, but because your spirit is finally resting without the constant pressure of being bound. Beloved, never forget that the power of darkness is nothing in comparison to the authority of the light. She tried because she feared what you carry. You will notice that colors seem sharper, sounds more vivid, and moments of peace last longer because you are living without interference for the first time in a life that has been far too long. Michael steps closer, lowering his sword, and his voice is now softer. And what you carry cannot be stolen, only delayed. You have walked through the delay. Now walk into the fulfillment. The image of your photo in her hands flashes again in your mind, but this time it's different. It's not in a circle of shadows, but in a blaze of gold light. The edges glow, the colors sharpen, and you understand. No matter where your likeness goes, your spirit belongs to God, and nothing that can be done to the image can touch the truth of who you are. You may be wondering what will happen to her now. Michael does not speak of revenge. Heaven does not deal in petty victories. However, there is justice, and justice will force her to face the reflective image of what she attempted to send you. Beloved, tonight is the night you step lighter. Tonight is the night the heaviness is not yours to carry. And from this moment on, every plan that is meant to slow you down will dissolve before it ever reaches your door. This is not to destroy her. Rather, it is to bring her to a point where she cannot deny that she was wrong to touch the life of one who is covered in the covenant of the Most High. It is not your strength that has relocated you. Rather, it is the one who has never stopped fighting for you when you have been repositioned. Beloved soul, if this message has spoken to your heart, don't let it end here. Click that like button so the light can spread to more people who need hope. Subscribe to Holy Voices so you never miss the next word heaven has for you. And leave a comment below. I read every one, and I pray over them. Remember, faith grows when we share it, so share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Until we meet again, may God's peace cover you and His voice guide your every step.